Hello, my name is Grace Ojochenemi Divo. I am the founder of Friends to Lean On Global Foundation. Friends to Lean On Global Foundation is a support group for people suffering from depression and anxiety disorder. I got to a point in my life and I noticed that some things were lacking. It was the need. It was something that I wanted at the time that led me to Friends to Lean On, to start Friends to Lean On. Of course, I did not start immediately, but I had it in my head some way, somehow, that I knew I was going to do something that would be more about supporting people, that was anybody suffering from depression and anxiety disorder. So yes, a big part of my experience is one of the reasons I started Friends to Lean On Global Foundation. The whole idea was to get something a little bit friendly and quite catchy and something that was not too serious. People would want to warm up to the name. I was thinking that, Friends to Lean On, friends, something that has to do with a conducive environment, a friendly atmosphere, a non-judgmental atmosphere, a non-judgmental, surrounding more like. So it was from the fact that I coined the name based on what friendship is all about. I have two stories, but I'm going to share one. The one that I would say was my little bout with depression. Yes, so as a young girl that finished secondary school, I was super excited that it was time for me to go to university. And the only thing that was in my head at the time was medicine. I wanted to study medicine with everything I had, right? So it was more like a do or die affair. It was either medicine or nothing. So when I was studying to go to the university, I did the regular JAM, Fikemba in English, that's physics, chemistry, and biology. And when my results already came out, my WAEC results, even before my WAEC result came out, I'd done GC in my SS2 and I cleared all my papers. So it was just jam and then voila, I'll be in the university. So it got to the point where results came out and I got 206 in my jam. First disappointment, because I knew for my state the cutoff mark for medicine for people from my state was way beyond 206. So that was the number one issue. That was the number one problem I had. Yeah, but I heard stories that it's not about the score you come out with. Just, do what you can do, and then you can, be lucky enough you'd get into the course of your choice. So I was very optimistic and I was very excited that, at least I scored above 200 my first attempt, at trying JAM, the so-called almighty JAM. I scored above 200. So I was super excited that there was hope, at least. So many months passed and I sat down at home one day and I got my admission letter. I was super excited. At the time, JAM would bring your admission to your house. So I was at home watching a campus show. I was really preparing to go to school. I was super excited that, hey, I'm going to the university. Yeah. So while I was watching, there was a knock on our gate and boom, I saw that it was admission letter from University of Jos. University of Jos was my first choice and ABU Zaria was my second choice. So I was super excited. I felt like, what? I got the admission I didn't even see, I didn't even look to check what was in my admission letter. I was just super excited that at least I got the admission. To cut the long story short, I opened the admission letter. Voila, it was physics, and I couldn't understand. At first, I was like, probably there was a mistake or something. Physics? I mean, I chose medicine and microbiology as my first and second choice. How on earth would they give me physics? I was shocked, annoyed, irritated, all the emotions that you can think of. I had it that day. But I was a young girl. I was not even up to 18 then. I was such a young girl. And I was just mixed feeling. I was happy that I got admission into uni, but not the course I wanted to study. So at the end of the day, uncles, cousins, and friends would tell you that don't worry, when you go to school you can change your course and all of that. So another step of hope was rising. At first it was my score, and the fact that I got admission, it was another hope for me to be excited about. So when I got into uni, my focus was to change. God, I was like, this physics, I'm not studying physics. What am I going to do with physics? Oh, hell no. And in hindsight, I can now see why I really, really wanted to study medicine. For me, it was more about service. I felt that it would be nice to save lives. It would be nice to be the one that would see a sick person and give them something and they will be well. It was just the whole idea around being a medical doctor. So it was either medicine or nothing. I was super excited. Now, like I said, in hindsight, I can now see why in my little brain, I felt it was only medicine that could help me do the things that I really, really wanted to do. Yeah, so when I got into campus Jos, it was really cold in Jos. It was a new city for me. I was super excited. I made friends, but there was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to leave physics department. I wanted to go into something else, especially medicine. I just knew it was either medicine or nothing, or worst case scenario, when I do medicine, when I get microbiology, I can then switch. But I was super excited when they told me that it's easy. It's something you can do. You can leave physics for medicine. So I decided to try my best, and it wasn't easy. The weird thing I did as a student was I stopped attending lectures with physics students, but I was attending lectures with medical students because I was so optimistic I was going to change from physics to medicine. But that didn't happen. And I messed up my 100 level results by myself. But that was not even the real cause of depression for me. It was when I really struggled. I tried everything possible to change my course, and it didn't work out for me. It didn't happen. It didn't look like it was going to happen. I kept on asking people. I was a bit depressed. I was sad, but I still had a little bit of hope that I could still change and all of that. But I was not a happy Jambite. But I made friends. I had we that came through Jamb, Seime, Ngbede, AY, and I was super excited. They really made me, feel at home. We were really young at the time, and we're so full of life. We tried our best to enjoy physics, but we always complained to each other. This one will tell you I never wanted physics. This one will tell you I never wanted physics. And when I saw that it was a common thing amongst us, at least I was able to manage. But the funny thing, like I said before, I did was that I was studying with medical students and I was messing up my own. I would study with medicine, and then it would be time for me to write exams or tests. I would come back to physics because the truth was that I was carrying natural science. I was not carrying MBBS or I was not. It was my math number was not carrying the faculty of medicine. He was carrying the faculty of natural science. So who was deceiving? I was almost deceiving myself. Now, so the part, this is the part that really got me depressed. So after I'd read my road, I was hoping that I was going to study medicine, and it wasn't looking like it was going to be possible. I had to manage back in physics, and it was really hard because we had a lot to do as physics students. We had a lot to cover. So what happened was that I failed the almighty Maths 101. So here is the part. I have never ever failed anything academically. I had never, prior to Maths 101, I had never failed anything. So it was what? I mean, I would call myself an average student, or an average student that would be an excellent student if I did the extra work. But for me, it was more like, once I get lectures from class, I read a little bit. I know I'm going to give the lecturer marking scheme, but that didn't work in university. In university, I was really I was busy trying to change from medicine to physics. I mean, from physics to medicine, and I was not reading for physics, I was reading for medicine. Maths was a general course for medical students and physics and all the sciences, and everybody in the science departments. Maths was a compulsory course for us, but it became really difficult because I had to follow up. I had to catch up with all the courses that I missed, and that was where it all started. So for the first time in my life, I would fail a course. It was really hard for me to contain. First, I was dealing with the fact that I wanted to leave physics, and then 2, I failed a very important course. It was a serious thing for me at the time. It was really hard for me because it was my first experience with failure. Prior to that time, I never knew what it meant to fail anything. From primary school, I did good. In secondary school, I did very well. So failing was new to me. And then I would say that was my first experience with depression. It was a terrible, terrible experience. Yeah, so I was young, but I was so frustrated. I couldn't imagine. I blamed it on everybody. I blamed it on my friends. I didn't want to see my friends, and I was just crying every night. It was more like, what is bad enough that I don't like this physics, and then I'm failing? No, this is not going to be good for me. So that period was a terrible time for me. It was really hard for me to handle that failure. So I experienced it. I would call it mild depression because it didn't really last. And I think the fact that the environment that I found myself, at least you'd hear in the hostel, somebody's shouting there, somebody's doing one thing there, and the other friends are coming, people are just in your face. Depression won't be able to last in that place. So it was something that eventually I got over, but that period was really, really, really hard for me. And I would say thank you to my friends at the time, because they were always checking up on me. They were always telling me that, you know what, Grace, we know you're good, we know you're smart, and that you just allowed yourself to focus more on your medicine, and then you just decided to let things just go that way. And they talked to me and gave me hope and reassured me that I would do better in the following semester. And yes, I got over that part of depression and got back on my feet. So I would pretty much say that was my first encounter with depression. Yeah, so okay, now for Friends to Lean On Global Foundation, the whole idea is to share the message of hope and to talk more about stories, real life stories, so that people would understand that these things happen and you can get up, you can try again. Failing in anything, failing your exams, failing in marriage, failing in your career, failing in anything, you can always try. So the whole idea behind Friends to Lean On Foundation is to spread the message, talk to people, educate people. Most people don't even know what depression is. Most people don't know. They just call it sadness, bad mood, not in the mood. Some people don't even know what anxiety disorder. There are natural things that can happen when you're sad. It's very natural. But when you're sad over a long period of time, then it can be suspected that you have depression. Also, there's certain things that can happen when you're anxious. Say for instance that you're expecting something to happen and the thing hasn't happened, and you're anxious and you become very jittery and you become very, there's something about you that is not normal. Then you're anxious. Being anxious is a normal thing. So the whole idea of Friends to Lean On is to ensure that we talk about these things so that people would understand that depression is a mental illness that can be managed, and also anxiety disorder is also a mental illness that can also be managed. But most importantly, the whole idea of Friends to Lean On is to share true life stories so that people can understand that whatever they're going through, it's a phase, and they're not alone, that other people are going through that particular phase, and there are steps that one can take that you'd find yourself winning over that situation per time. So it's our goal to ensure that at least one story would be shared in a month, so that people can try to relate with those stories and understand that, it's a phase. I'm going to take all the steps needed to ensure that I recover. And also, the support is to hold your hands, more like hold your hands to help you pass through that phase so that you can be better. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.